All right. Welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing, Billy?
Good. Pleasantly surprised. It's Juneteenth, and Trump hasn't come out and actually canceled the holiday. So I am glad to see that. But yeah, it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big day.
It is. I saw where the Roots did like a Schoolhouse Rock cartoon version
Oh,
for
nice.
Juneteenth. It was pretty cool. The White House didn't have a whole lot to say when asked in the press conference today with KK Caroline. They're kind of discounting it. Um, but it's still here, and I believe it'll be here for a while.
I hope so. It needs to be. I mean, it's an important thing. And for these people that are like, well, slavery wasn't that bad, or why are you shaming us by remembering slavery? Like, you know what? Shame on you.
Yeah. Well, it goes right back to renaming the bases back to the great names of the Southern generals from the Civil War, right?
Well, yeah, apparently treason and secession are a big deal for Trump, something that he believes in and honors. So, not surprising, but yeah, still disgusting.
Yeah, and Hegseth too. I don't know that Trump's even aware. He was talking about pointing people to the Constitution and mentioning that maybe the Civil War, wouldn't have happened had that document been in place. I
Well,
mean,
I saw where he said that had he been president, then he could have negotiated a deal.
of course.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, dude, that prefrontal cortex is just turning to oatmeal as we speak.
I think people are getting concerned. Um, to the June 19th part, KK Caroline mentioned that we're working 24/7. We're so busy around here. Thank you all for showing up to work. As if, again, another slight, like we're not going to recognize it. Had it been President's Day, of course, we all take the day off. But
Oh, she's so busy. I want to know. I'd like to see them follow her around just for a day. What do you do when you're not up on that podium? How much work are you actually getting done? You probably sit there and just wait for your talking points to come
yeah,
through.
then
You
practice
know,
them.
yeah, I'm sure that's all she's doing. Maybe doing her nails, maybe polishing that giant cross, or just
That-
thinking of new ways to be a shitty person and be mean to everybody. But yeah, I'm not buying. We're working 24/7. It's the hardest job ever. You know what? How about you do landscaping out there in 100-degree heat or some farm work? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe you'll have to because you're sending away all the people that are doing that. So maybe you'll get your chance to find out what real work is, Caroline. We'll see.
Very good point. And we'll come
Mhm.
back to that because there is a lot of rotting food. It's not just food banks. There's a lot of farmers markets where a lot of fruits and vegetables come in. People that do DoorDash delivery, those companies will draw from those fruits and vegetables. Restaurants will shop there, as well as grocery stores will pick up a lot of produce there. Farmers bring it in. Well, they're not coming.
Mhm.
People that work there are really concerned because the place is just getting trashed. I mean, stuff's just rotting. You can't get people to come in there because they're afraid of getting picked up. Trump put a reprieve on it, as we talked about with the hotel industry as well as agriculture. But Stephen Miller says, step on the gas. We need 3,000 a day just for the numbers.
Why?
I
Why
don't.
do you need that? Why does anybody even care? If you're a person that's sitting at home watching Fox News and you're outraged because there's not enough people being deported and there's not enough misery being doled out, then fuck you. You know what? Trump's already got your vote. Why does he even care? Fuck these people. I mean, and again, this is a man with a tiny ego. Oh, I've got to deport the most people ever. Well, Biden and Obama have you beat.
Yeah, badly. And we didn't put any of these spectacles on. You're,
Yeah.
you're, you're covering a ton of topics here. We will come back
Oh, I'm
to
all over the place today.
when it's good. When you started with the what do they do all day, we're nearly on the verge of World War III. Uh,
Hmm.
Tehran, the Iranians bombed a single hospital in Israel, which now they should be condemned and wiped off the face of the earth. I guess that's not the same standard when Israel leaves Gaza in rubble.
Yeah,
Uh,
seems like a bit of a double standard there, doesn't it? I mean, when
but
you're
but
actively
go ahead.
bombing civilians and turning away international aid organizations to send out your own, and when people show up to collect food, you shoot them. I don't think
Wow.
that's, yeah, I think that's a bit over the line there, Israel, but what do I know? I'm a compassionate, functionally thinking human being who cares about people. But you
Well,
know,
I guess you didn't hear, but Netanyahu, Bibi, said that his son had to postpone his wedding. So we're all
it's a
making
shame.
sacrifices, okay?
Yeah, that's a shame. They're still in Greece, though, aren't they?
No, he's back, wandering around and looking like Giuliani after 9/11. Just it's all photo ops, and he looks like a turd, and he smells like a turd. So
He is a turd. Well, he must be a turd then.
I'm going to pop this up because, as I was stating, we're on the cusp of World War III, and uh, this is what Trump spent all day yesterday doing, literally all day. I saw Fox News. They said, "Hey, I don't know how long this is going to go on for, but we're gonna hang out while the president's still here." They put up flagpoles on the north and south lawn. I'm going to go back to that picture real quick. Tell me if you notice anything on top of the White House, literally on top of the White House.
Well, it looks like there's a flag on top of the White
A
House.
flag. Yes, there was already a flag on the White House.
Well, and why does that flagpole in the foreground look crooked?
Well, it goes with the administration. That was a real softball, Billy, but thank you.
Yeah.
A little bit crooked. The one on the south lawn, the issue is that he didn't, and this is his I don't know, his chief of staff last term, in his first term, Trump's came out and said those poles are too close to where Marine One comes in. So they can't land the helicopter. And of course, Trump has no idea. I mean, he's not the best construction guy, apparently. So they're really worried about his safety getting on that helicopter with this new flagpole in the way. The flagpole story went on for hours because these are the most amazing flagpoles, best in the world. I have a couple of Mar-Lago. Nobody makes them like they're tapered at the top of them. The rope is on the inside. Can you imagine rope on the inside? Donated, of course. They're about 50,000 a piece, but these are the best in the world.
Are
Best
they made in China?
probably. Probably that's why he had to pay so much because they don't really care for him either.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the brink of World War III, and we've got two of the most incompetent and just bubble-headed and unqualified people leading the charge. I mean, between Trump and Whiskey Pete,
Heggy.
this is this is this is genuinely frightening. It really is. I mean, this is. I just, I'd like 5 minutes to visit the universe where Kamala won, where the world's settling into a peaceful position where there is actually a policy, a law against price gouging, where there is opportunity, where
Consumer
student loans have been
protections.
eased. Just 5 minutes. That's
Environmental protection. Yeah.
yeah, where we're moving forward. This, yeah, I don't stop this universe. I want to get off. I don't like it.
So I'm going to put him back up because these were the gentlemen that were behind him. He called them real workers. I don't know what the fake workers look like. These guys were yucking it up pretty good. The guy on Trump's left, which would be our right, looks like he might be a little darker than Trump cares for a worker, but we'll just say he's been outside working. But they were all yucking it up. He's sure that they all voted for him. He went back and talked about the stolen election of 2020. I mean, it's like so boring and just not real constructive towards anything.
It's like listening to Grandpa Simpson talking about that onion on his belt.
Grandpa Simpson was more entertaining.
He
This guy
was.
less so.
You know what? Can't somebody give Trump his ghost quarter?
You'll be spending it soon.
Let's hope.
And just to wrap that up, because he was so busy yesterday, this was Juventus. They're studs in the Italian soccer league.
Oh yeah.
Basically a football giant. And they're here for the Club World Cup, which is tickets you can get for $4 if you want. I saw Atlanta was practically empty. We already know Miami drew nobody. But he brings these gentlemen in, which is nice. But then he goes to his usual routine. What do you think about women and men's sports? Do you think a woman could make your team? These guys were pretty uncomfortable with all of the conversation that he was spouting. I don't think they knew what to say. Here's another picture of Grandpa just going off. They didn't respond. They knew better. Then he turns to the GM and he's like, well, you probably think that women shouldn't be in men's sports. And he's like, we have a really highly skilled, talented women's team. He's like, but you don't want them playing with men, right? And then when the guy didn't answer, he's like, you're just being politically correct. It's like, does everything have to be about hating on somebody? It's just the worst.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Hate and cruelty. That's the whole fucking point of the
It's
Trump
draining. It's tiring. And it's too much. It's wearing on people. It's just too much.
Yeah, it is. And it's just so counterproductive with everything that's going on that needs to be addressed and taken care of. This is what we're stuck with.
Well, and he'll tell you that the world's respecting us, and then he'll lie about how much money his tariffs are bringing in. 800 million. They called me. They said, "Sir, we have so much money coming in. What are we going to do with all this money?"
Put it into Trump crypto.
Meanwhile, wages are down, jobs are being cut, the GDP is down, and of course that came out today. The GP numbers falling, and he, of course, said, "Hey, not my problem. I came in January. This is quarterly information." Well, it's the 6th month of the year.
Yeah.
So that's half. I don't know how the quarter system works necessarily. I did go to public school, but he came in January. So
yeah,
this seems to be your baby, and you're really messing it up.
Yeah, he doesn't understand fractions.
I guess not. But he should have somebody that helps him. That was the saving grace his first term, where he had a few people that could actually talk reason to him and say, "Hey, you can't shoot him in the kneecaps. You invited him here, not a thing."
Yeah.
Sorry,
he's just surrounded himself with a bunch of enablers and, toadies and lick spittles.
Yeah, and they're all really gross.
It's a disgusting group of people.
So I wanted to shift to this because I'm not sure if you've been out today. Well, I'm pretty sure you have been out today. It's hot.
It's a hot one.
It is. Missouri is smoking. And what they're calling this is the heat dome is what we're going to be under. The heat dome is just a large area of high pressure in the upper atmosphere, and it basically acts as a reservoir that traps in the heat and humidity and then comes back to us. Humidity adds at least 10 degrees to your temperature, what it feels like. With that humidity, also, we sweat. Obviously, we're not dogs panting. We do sweat, but it doesn't go away when it doesn't
evaporate. Yeah, that makes it dangerous.
Exactly.
Your body has no way to cool itself when it's that humid. I remember one day in training camp after practice, Mitch Lyons was coming off, and he's like, I came in after practice, took a shower, and 2 minutes later, I'm sweating again. I need to take another shower. It's miserable. And, this was over the Pacific Northwest. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. And a lot of people died because, here in Missouri, we're used to it. So, most homes have air conditioning. They don't have that there.
Yeah.
A lot of places aren't used to that. So it was a real problem. And, but the climate's changing, and this is what you get now. Contrary to what, our orange leader is telling us.
That's absolutely right. And just as yes, you're absolutely right. With the climate change, part of the problem, to your point, with the orange guy is all this misinformation that we're being fed. And there's obviously a reason for it. You've talked many times about how the petroleum industry knew about this and just kind of put it to the side. They could have come in with clean energy, but they decided why. So part of this climate misinformation is turning a crisis into literally a catastrophe, right? I turn on my computer, I see this, climate's never been better. Wow. Who's it sponsored by? Well, yeah, the fossil fuel industry. But in fairness, they're not alone. They pay off right-wing politicians. They're going to spread the word as well. You have some nations that, their whole production is fossil fuels. So they're obviously going to support it. But also the electric companies, the airline industry, tourism, fast food. There's a lot of people that are just giving us horrible information. Case in point, when they talked about the blackouts in Spain, they tried to blame it on renewable energy. Oh, it was the renewables that did this. How about Trump? Windmills. What do? Oh, they kill birds. Oh, boy. So you get this, and then you're like, oh, well, fossil fuels, maybe that's the way to be. But on a world level, people in other countries are a little bit smarter. Plus, the bots and the trolls obviously are going to push this whole narrative. But we can't get together on policy if we can't agree on facts. And that's a huge problem.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell me you don't believe in gravity, but if you step out that third floor window, you're going down. Doesn't matter. Facts are facts.
Yeah. It's called science. So if you believe in the science, you're in pretty good shape. But all of this is kind of campaigns are evolving into just focusing on discrediting these solutions so we can just stay with status quo, which is what made a lot of these people really wealthy. Now, the statistics are we have about 5 years to cut emissions in half. That's 2030. Not a lot of time, obviously, but we also have to have till 2050 to get to carbon neutral, which is why under Obama, they started, parceling off. You're going to get rebates for cutting your carbon emissions, et cetera. It was more of an economical way of trying to bring it down. So there was some incentive. Of course, we got rid of that. Who needs it? And to think about at 2050, which again, isn't that long from now to make this happen, you're never going to get to carbon neutral, which is a problem. So the UN has taken upon themselves to introduce a campaign which is called Global Initiative for Information Integrity on Climate Change. Can we all agree as a world that what facts are, especially when it comes to climate change? We all see it. That used to be something that we would lead, but we're just not that into it anymore.
We're not that into it. That seems like, it's going to cost us a lot. That seems like a lot of effort. I'd rather sink back into my lazy boy and watch Fox News.
Well,
yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's so self-destructive. And, like we were talking the other day, a lot of Gen Z doesn't think they're going to live to see 40.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's insanity. It's like a form of mass psychosis where you have people that can't even agree on facts when you have these incredibly volatile weather patterns that roll through. What were you saying earlier about the tornado?
St. Louis. Yeah, in our St. Louis region, so far in 3 months of this year, we've had 40 tornadoes.
I mean,
average 17 a year.
Yeah.
I've been here 20 plus years, and we had one tornado that was fairly close. I think it was like an F2, and it tore up some fencing. It was a real quick touchdown and out. Obviously, the one recently in our neighborhood was pretty horrible. But to have 40 in 3 months compared to the 17 average a year, and that's everywhere. That could be, well south of us, well north of us, but literally in our region to have 40 tornadoes. We had one yesterday, that kind of pop-up storm. I was surprised. It was weirdly windy. All of a sudden it got really dark. The warnings came out, and somebody had put up on their social media about, it was just an EF1, nothing huge. But again, this tornado literally touched down, and they were able to get shots of it. I mean, we're almost getting desensitized to it. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's the good and the bad thing about, being human, that we're adaptable. We get used to everything. We get used to seeing people rounded up on the street and taken away by masked men. We get used to seeing Democratic politicians being roughed up.
Yeah.
And it's an outrage, but we have the ability to get used to these things. And, it's a double-edged sword because, you have to be able to cope, but at the same time, you have to be able to call out what's wrong.
For sure. And stand
so
up
many
for it.
things are wrong.
Yeah, it's a laundry list right now. To that point, just some quick numbers on weather. Denver's going to hit 100 degrees. Chicago's going to be up around 96. The humidity will be there for sure. New York City, 96. I mean, you just get to a point where you just can't cool yourself, and it's not a pleasant situation. And the elderly and those that maybe have disabilities or people that don't have the funds, here we'll set up cooling tents throughout Missouri and St. Louis in particular for people either homeless or just financially not well off to be able to go someplace to get cool. Otherwise, you're going to find people literally on the streets.
Oh
dead.
yeah. Or you'll find them dead in their apartment when it's
Yeah,
just baking
that's pretty.
inside. I mean,
Oh my God. We
yeah.
have a lot of brick homes here, so yes, it's literally like a brick oven. It's horrible.
I remember one year I lived in a big brick building, and we were in one of these heat waves, and I keep turning down the AC, trying to cool it down, trying to cool it. It's not getting any cooler. And I'm like, well, it's like living in a pizza oven. It's a brick oven. Finally, I ventured outside and I noticed that my condenser was gone, just hauled away.
Well,
So,
there was copper in that thing.
uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
you were
that's,
just blowing your fan.
yeah. I mean, nothing was happening. It was just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it's a funny story, but it's not so funny that you have people that are going to have to suffer from that, and it's going to be the elderly, and it's going to be people with less resources, and it's just, and again, it's all the while the Senate is haggling over a bill that, they want to make it even crueler so the billionaires can have their tax cuts. I mean, it's obscene. And you would think that that's one thing that everybody who's not a billionaire can agree on, that this is just fucking wrong. It just makes no sense.
They don't care, and it's an us and them, as we talked about forever. It's we're not them, and they only care about them, not us.
Yeah, they only care about them. And it's time for the rest of us to realize that, you know what? And we saw it at some of the protests on Saturday. I mean, you have people that, may not agree on certain things, but they all agree on one thing, that everything that's going on is just an outrage. I mean, you had some people that were worried about climate change, a lot of people that were worried about ICE. You had other people that, didn't like Trump wanting to be a king.
Lack of funding for medical research,
Mhm.
environmental issues. Yeah.
Yeah, the treatment of veterans, the treatment of trans and queer people. I mean, so you saw a lot of people that, maybe we don't agree on everything, but there are certain things that we do agree on, and we can, unite about on those and rally around that. And that's what it's going to take. We're going to have to keep having these rallies to get their attention.
And we'll talk about that at the end of the show. We did talk about last episode that July 4th, they will be having the No Kings people will be gathering as well. There'll be some rallies. July 4th can be tricky with travel and everything. We'll talk about another date coming up in July, but it's also very important. I want to put this up real quick because we've been pretty good about some of the Listeria outbreaks. This is a Listeria outbreak. This is a brand that's sold at Kroger's. 3 people have already died. One pregnant woman lost her baby due to this. It's prepackaged chicken fettuccine Alfredo. Major U.S. retailers sell it, and you can see the brand here. Market side is the label on it, but it's sold at Kroger. It's mainly sold at Walmart. As we're cutting FDA, USDA, and CDC regulations and staff and protections, more people are getting sickened. 17 individuals are sickened by this in 13 states. And some of the crazy thing is this is a frozen product. So this goes back as far as last August. So some people that bought it last year were eating this in May and were starting to get sick.
Wow.
Fever, muscle aches, headaches, stiff neck, confusion, convulsions. I mean, it's nothing to mess around with.
No.
But it's just crazy. It's like a ticking time bomb that's been in your freezer. You had no idea. And again, I'm not saying, oh, Trump's the devil. This Listeria, if it was from last year, was before his term, but he's the one cutting FDA, USDA, CDC staff and protections and stuff. He's the one taking away funding. They're obviously to protect us and keep our food clean and safe. But not a thing. So if you see any of these Home Chef, Market Side, all made coming out of Kroger's and Walmart's, don't eat it. They said throw it away.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, tip of the iceberg with what we're doing. You did mention the cruelty. I did want to say that Trump's shutting down the National LGBTQ Youth Suicide Lifeline. In the next 30 days, he'll take away all of that. Any kind of help that people might need. I'll put up this statistic, which to me is pretty horrifying. It's tough. It's tough when you aren't sure. It's tough when your body's telling you one thing, your mind's saying another thing. You're trying to find your way. We've all grown up as teens. It's hard enough, let alone when you have added confusion. And,
Oh yeah.
you should be able to have somebody to talk to. We had Telmed back in the day when they had phone books.
Yeah.
Not to go into too much of detail, but somebody got a little too much of a good time one night, and they woke up calling Telmed, which was a recording. Nobody was looking at your call logs. Your parents weren't going to find out, but it was at least a source to say, hey, you're tripping your balls off. It's going to be okay. Just relax.
Yeah.
Not to make light of this, it's a very serious topic, but my point is, even we had somebody to be able to reach out to anonymously, and you're taking it away from these kids. And why?
Yeah, it's just the cruelty. Like, I just don't understand. If somebody wants to be a certain gender, what do you care? How does it affect you? I mean, it just makes no sense to me. Mind your own fucking damn business and be the best person you can be, and stop making people's lives miserable to the point where they want to kill themselves. I mean,
It's awful.
gender is fluid. The Hebrew Bible had, I think it was more than 20 versions of gender. So,
Yeah.
And just the fact that you've got to be in everybody's business. Who cares? Who cares who, everybody wants to be with somebody. Who cares who they want to be with or how they want to do it? Or,
Sure.
It's ridiculous. It's just so stupid. Mind your own.
Mind your own business. Don't project onto others. And if they're not bothering you, don't bother them.
Yeah. I mean, you're just being cruel for the point of being cruel. And that pisses me off. I can't stand that.
It's annoying. And obviously there's science behind this. They were saying, you have two paths that you can choose. The path of science and public health and safety, or the path of disinformation, conspiracy theories, and preventable disease outbreaks.
Yeah.
It looks like we're choosing the latter, which seems like a no-brainer. Give me my science. Give me my public health and safety. I'm all about it. Who wouldn't want that?
But again, look at the climate we live in. Corporate media. I mean, Fox relies on, they make huge profits over getting you riled up. They want you sitting at home outraged all day long, pumping cortisol through your system, which is unhealthy. But that's what they want. They want you on edge. They want you fucking angry. They want you ready to, tear somebody's throat out and scream at people. And it's like, why? There's another path. There's a path of peace and tranquility and harmony. I mean, getting along, helping people, being part of a community, and being of value. And a lot of people still believe in that, but unfortunately, the people that don't believe in it seem to make the most noise and get the most attention. And it's not a healthy society. It's not a healthy way to live. You can't walk around angry all the time.
You're absolutely right.
Like we said, strike up a conversation with a stranger, whether you're just even complimenting their T-shirt or their hat or what have you. Just
great haircut.
Yeah, love the shoes. But I mean, just have a brief conversation. You'll feel better, and it's people feel better. People need to be part of a community. People were wired that way, right? And maybe that's where this tribalism that we have has just gone haywire, because we want to reach out, but only to people that look like us or believe the same things that we do. But deep down, we all have the same DNA. We're all pretty much the same. So a lot of this shit just makes no sense.
Well, Trump doesn't make any sense.
No, he doesn't. And the fact that this guy got back into office when it was very clear what was going to happen. We were all warned. I mean, it's like that. I don't know if you ever saw that episode of Bob's Burgers, where Bob's teaching his oldest daughter to drive, and it's an empty parking lot. There's one car in the lot, and she's very slowly driving towards it. And he's like, come on, Tita. No. All right. Plenty of time to change course. No. Oh, my God. What are you doing? And that kind of sums up the Trump campaign and where we're at now. Hey, you see what's going to happen. It's right there. No other distractions. Very poor choice. Nope. Come on. You're heading right towards it. Holy shit.
Yeah, that car was barely moving.
Okay. It was barely moving. And yet, so yeah, it's just, it's disturbing on so many levels.
You're absolutely right. I think Christy Nome is back out of the hospital after her panic attack,
Ooh,
anxiety
thoughts and
attack.
prayers. I thought maybe she ran low on Botox and was having a reaction to not having so much botulism in her system.
Could be, or she just couldn't find a new cosplay to put on. Uh, we know now that she's kind of second in command now. They've kind of stripped her of her duties. It's a Stephen Miller thing. Um, he's really running pretty much everything that he can, sadly.
Oh,
Uh,
he's a hateful maniac.
but they started doing some changing to this. We saw the Newark mayor get detained, pretty physically kind of handled. We
Hmm.
saw Congress Lady McIver literally arrested. She was going to, well, she's been indicted, so she'll get her day in court. Um, so a lot of that happens at the facility, which they're allowed to come out to. So they've put some new laws out there. This is the field offices are here. This is where like the hearings and stuff go down. This is where they have them come in. The um, undocumented comes in for his hearing. They cancel the meeting, and then he's arrested and deported. That's where a lot of the action's happening, and they're going to try and keep people away from those areas. So they put new limits for lawmakers on their visits. They need 72-hour notice before any visits, while requiring their staff to give 24-hour notice to come out there. Now, the caveat is that these lawmakers retain the right for unannounced visits to the ICE detention facilities because it's barbed wire, it's fencing. We got plenty of time to stall you to make sure there's food and water for people.
Hmm.
But it does block them from going to the field offices where most of this agency action is taking place. So uh, the gentleman who got picked up, Landor, was that his last name, Landor,
Hmm.
in New York?
Yeah, the mayoral candidate and the
Correct.
comptroller. Yeah.
Comptroller, and he was basically there just to protect those coming in to make sure they were getting their due process. And we saw what happened to him. So, in order to avoid that, we're just going to make this new law where, yes, you have this right, but give us a heads up first, okay? We're going to need
Call
that.
first.
Call
Yeah.
first.
And
Uh,
again,
if we feel like letting you in, we will. If we don't, then go talk to second in command. And here she is right here because, of course, everybody wants to see that outfit. Oh, for some reason, I feel like chicken tonight, but I don't know why.
somebody doesn't bother with leg day.
Yeah, well, why should she? Okay. Most days are just face day.
Yeah. Oh
So
God.
very disappointing that they're just moving the goalposts in order to, again, not allow for due process. I find it kind of disturbing.
Well, not to mention the fact that they're putting people in these private facilities. So, which are run by, Trump-backed corporations or friends of Trump. So Trump's getting a taste of it, and these people are
Yeah.
getting wealthy on the misery
Who else
of
is getting
innocent,
paid?
hardworking people.
Homan. He's an
Hmm.
advisor to these private prisons, so of course he gets his beak in there.
Yeah,
Very
it's just
important.
it's such a self-serving grift. It's just ridiculous.
And we haven't seen him in a while, so
Yeah, the less of that guy, the better.
yeah, he's horrifying.
Hmm.
So I'm glad he hasn't necessarily been around. I did want to jump to after the. Oh, this is a classic one. I think we all grew up knowing that asbestos was not a good thing.
Not
Uh,
a good thing.
it's very useful. Obviously, it has many uses, but it's something that we learned over time that when you mess with it, it could probably kill you. That
Yeah,
would
fucks
be
up your lungs.
something probably to avoid. So, in MAGA form, we're going to make asbestos great again. So, Trump is going to, excuse me, he's going to repeal the ban on asbestos, which is a cancer causing material. He blamed he literally said the mob. Uh, do you know what reference that would be to the mafia and asbestos?
I'm guessing it's a reference to a Sopranos episode where, yeah, Tony had a contract to get rid of all the asbestos and couldn't find a place to dump it, so they ended up dumping it into a pond.
That was
Yeah.
not a good idea. But
No, it's just, I mean, just the shit that they're coming up with is just, it's just so
Backwards.
ridiculous and short-sighted and just stupid.
Well, and asbestos is linked to about 40,000 annual U.S. deaths from cancer. Uh, the interesting part to me is who do you think is the leading exporter of asbestos materials?
Could it be the friend of Trump, Putin, Russia?
It is definitely Mother Russia. So we got to keep the Lord above us happy. So hey, why not bring it in? And it's twofold because not only is Russia making money off it and keeping Putin happy, but it's killing Americans. So
Where are they dumping this shit? Why the Russian asbestos that's being sent here? Where are they dumping that?
well, I'm sure they're going to put it into like buildings and such. I mean, we've seen enough rehabbing where you have to get the asbestos out. You're generally wearing some heavy duty stuff. Let me see if I have. I thought I had some pictures of people. I mean, certainly it's not some. Well, we started with this. It's nothing you want to breathe in. You can see they're in hazmat suits for God's sake. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, asbestos is great. It's about how you handle it. I mean, if you just leave it alone, you're going to be fine. That's not always a possibility. And
Yeah.
if there's other better ways, why wouldn't you? So I'll put this up just to uh, some of the key facts about asbestos. And 60 other countries have banned the use of it. Um, the CDC shows how many people killed in 2022, and that's just one type of cancer. It's also good for several cancers, lung, uh, ovarian. I mean, sure, all good stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what kind of pushback we get on that. I know our GOP senators and congresspeople that love Russia probably are okay with this, but I don't know that their home is old enough to have asbestos in it. Their new
Well,
make.
maybe just send it to Ron Johnson then. Just, we'll store it in his
Careful,
garage.
careful there, buddy.
He loves Russia.
He does, but he may not love a mail call. So we will see. One other bit just on the deregulation. The Department of Justice has cut 2/3 of the inspectors that monitor federally licensed gun dealers. Um, so it ends any federal oversight to prevent sales to criminals and straw purchases, which is just a made up shell company of criminals that want to buy as many weapons as they can. I
Mhm.
find it crazy that we want to get these undocumented off the street because they're all criminals, but maybe we could basically arm them first, right? I mean, what are you
Yeah.
thinking? It's just a giant contradiction. I don't know. We can't even get a pause on 24 hours for a background check to buy a gun. Now we're just going to make it a free for all.
Yeah, it's insane. It really is. I mean, at one time the NRA was all about gun safety. They were all for background checks and, stricter gun control. And now it is, like you said, it's just a free for all where, any maniac with an axe to grind can go out and get himself, an AR-15 and all the ammo he wants, or she, and just, masquerade as a cop and maybe go out and shoot some people, some representatives, what have you. I mean, this is insane. This is
Well, and
just,
they're doing just threats on Twitter where you have a congressman saying, "Hey, you don't vote our way, your life's in danger," and that's just not shouldn't be the norm. It shouldn't be accepted. Obviously, Senator Lee started this bullshit.
oh,
But
that asshole never even apologized. And
is he just
dude,
not smart enough to understand what he said? It's insane.
he's just another moron playing for clicks and likes and riling up the base. I mean, this is disgusting. There is no sense of decency at all. And he was rightly called out for it. And if you look at that picture of her lecturing him, he looked like a little schoolboy that just pissed his pants. These are such fake tough guys. They like to talk tough, and they're really tough behind a keypad, and tweeting out these heinous, hurtful things. But it's just disgusting. They all model themselves after Trump, who is the ultimate fake tough guy.
Yeah, he is awful. He is an awful person. Speaking of awful people, I just wanted to throw that in. I don't know if you saw that Starship, Musk's ship yesterday. It really wasn't. It was more of a maintenance thing. It really wasn't something that was supposed to be airlifted or manned or any of this. This is all part of the NASA contract to send people to the moon. It blew up. It wasn't planned. It had no ignition. It just, something happened and it was a giant explosion. Normally, you and I might take a little bit of happiness out of that because Musk is such a turd. But now we're on the hook for it, right? He got that NASA $4 billion NASA contract. So in order to land humans on the moon, which again, oh my God.
We've already been there and done that. We know how to do it. Why are we trying to invent
And you're
the wheel?
disputing it. You don't even believe we went there. So now we're going to go there and we're going to take grandma and grandpa with us? Come on. Jeez, oh man.
Yeah,
But my point being, we've already given him $2.8 billion initially. He's going to get a follow-up, couple more $1 billion. So every time his lack of smarts has one of these things blow up, we're now paying. It's not as funny.
No, that is not
Taxpayer
funny at
money's
all.
going to it. And it just, I mean, I could see on liftoff you had some kind of issue, whatever, but this was literally not even a test launch and it just blew up. That's now in our atmosphere, all that chemical waste, dust, whatever, and the money's gone.
I guess those property values in his Star City are dropping.
I don't know. They're going to rebuild with a lot of asbestos, so housing prices should be A-okay.
Well, it is fireproof. So, yeah.
And retardant.
Yeah.
I did want to just throw this out there because I saw it. I thought it was kind of weird. The Department of Defense a couple days ago made 4 tech executives from Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI. They made them lieutenant colonels in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is that?
That is worrisome. That's what that is. You've got the people behind this high-tech surveillance stuff, and now they're part of the military.
How?
Because that's how fascism works.
How do you get to lieutenant colonel that quickly?
Because, because we said so. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant Colonel.
I wanted to be a general.
Yeah, again, that's something that's quite worrisome. I mean, you're seeing this collaboration between now the military, the tech bros, tech oligarchs who are all about this shit. I mean, dude, Palantir it's evil. It's evil. Yeah. Peter Thiel. And again, we've talked about it before. The vision of dark MAGA. These guys, they don't believe in democracy. They don't want democracy. They want some tech overlord in charge. And unless you're a billionaire pulling your weight, you really don't exist. You have no rights. And this is what they want. This is what they want to create. And this is one step towards doing that, when they can monitor all of us, have all of our data, all of our information. And now it's militarized and going to be weaponized. So, yeah.
Well, they're high ranking. They will be in the officers club while we're down there with the grunts, I guess. And I'd be proud to be with those grunts. But I don't like the overlords. They're a little scary to me.
They're a lot scary.
Especially these jerk-offs.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
So, well, we'll continue to watch that one because that just seems really out of left field.
We're watching the watchers.
Yeah, we're watching them watch us.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be very afraid. So we'll see how it goes. I do have some happy endings today.
Okay.
I don't know where my signage is, but I want to start with, they stopped funding for HIV. I think Trump just doesn't really care. They were very close to having an inoculation for it. I don't know why she's not popping up, but that's fine. I'm not going to mess with it. Anyway, the FDA has approved. Oh, she was there and then she left. A twice yearly shot that you get. The drug is called lenacapavir. It's a shot that you take twice a year instead of a daily pill that you take, or I think it's every 3 months. This is every twice a year that you take this shot. It's a use of an antiviral drug as a strategy to prevent HIV, which sounds amazing to me. It's the longest pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is just a PrEP, which is what they just used. This one, they give you the shot, and it creates like a reservoir of the medicine that stays in your body and slowly releases over time. It's pretty amazing in that if you had to take a daily pill or the shot that's given every 2 months, this is something you can take twice a year. The global efforts to end HIV pandemic by 2030 has stalled because we're no longer putting money towards research, because apparently that's Africa's problem, not ours, even though we do have plenty of that going on here. We have more than 30,000 new infections in the US each year, 1.3 million people worldwide. If you can solve it, why wouldn't you? Trump, for all we know, has syphilis.
It would explain a lot, that's for sure.
It's right in your STD area. Maybe care a little bit more, and they're almost to the finish line where he backed out, but the rest of the world's continuing to push forward, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. The world will move on without us. We're going to align ourselves with North Korea and Russia, and the rest of the world will keep moving along. And China's going to do what China does. I mean, they've played him like a fool again with the tariffs. It's just ridiculous. And Netanyahu has him wrapped around his finger.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it all. I was just going to say, too, when you mentioned China, that the higher politicians and leaders of government in China, if they are sending their kids to the U.S., can you guess what university that they end up at?
I don't know. Harvard?
Yes, they go to Harvard because it's the best in the world in several areas. So any of your Chinese higher ups are going to send their kids there to get an education. That's part of the reason why Trump hates that university so much. But my point being, once you stop having international students coming into any of our institutions that make us better and the world a better place and more educated, a lot of the major businesses, and I'm not going to go down the list right now, but were foreign people that came to this country, got educated, and started a business here.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing how that works. But we don't do that anymore. Being smart's not cool.
It's not cool. Just be rich.
Just be rich. I like that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And you're going to see, you're going to see a lot of leading scientists and experts leaving.
Yeah.
They'll be able to write their own ticket. They'll they're already being actively recruited by other countries to go, and who can blame them?
China being one of them. They're like, come here, free. We'll pay you. Come.
Yeah.
Come get your education. So the HIV drug was one of my happy endings. My other happy ending just happened in the last hour. We talked about this morning, you and I. We talked about the Lakers being sold for $10 billion. And the comment was made that the Bus family are good people, and there could be a little bit of pushback from the powers that be in sports for a change to some of the wrongings that are being done. Mm-hmm. Today, ICE came out and wanted to get into Dodger Stadium. They wanted into the parking lots. The Dodgers told them, no, we're not interested, which was pretty amazing. And then LAPD came out and forced ICE out. They escorted their cars and said, that away, man. In the game tonight, the Dodgers are at home. The game will go on. But it was nice that the team literally stood up and refused them access to their parking lots and stadium.
Yeah, good for them. That's awesome. I love seeing that. I'd like to see more of that. And why were they even there? Were they going to arrest stadium workers? And
I'm not sure. They might even have just been working on their tactical skills in the parking lot. That's a great excuse to get several people into the building, and then you're absolutely right. Let's start hauling some people out. We need white people selling beer, okay? It's offensive. So that was my kudos to the Dodgers. I'm not a big Dodger fan, but that was well played and necessary. And then I have one more happy ending, unless you want to chime in with one first.
No, go ahead.
All right, fine. All right. We talked about July 4th having the No Kings sponsors. We're going to do it July 4th. come on out and rally, which is great. A lot of people travel on 4th of July, spend time with family. Might not be the most ideal weekend to get 12 million people out again. To that point, they've come out today and they're going to do a "Good Trouble Lives On." That was one of Gene's quotes on the Good Trouble. On July 17th, they will hold rallies all around this country. It's the 5th year anniversary of the death of John Lewis. Again, we talked about this. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he was an amazing man. I only have to have this in front of me right now. Right here. Yes, I love my USPS, as you know. My John Lewis stamps are a staple on any of my utility bills that go out. And I just think it's makes my heart warm and fuzzy to know that this is going to be a tribute to him, who put in so much time, who took a beat down, who got arrested, who made it into Congress, made a difference. Sadly, it's been 5 years without him, but coming up. But this will be, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, but I think that's awesome. As we get closer, we will put things in the show notes as far as the where and the when. But I guarantee you, much like No King's Day, this will be everywhere. I mean, Central Valley, California, conservative town, boom, people showed up. St. Louis, 20,000 people showed up. Obviously, Boston, New York, Chicago, all the big
Dallas, Atlanta.
LA. I mean, yes. So my happy ending is those three. They're all in various areas, but all of them are about making America better. We're not quite to greatness, and their greatness doesn't really jive with myself. So
yeah, I don't think that great means what they think it means. And they talk about MAGA, make America hate again. Yeah,
make America white again.
Yeah,
maybe.
But yeah, that your vision is not greatness. Sorry, but no.
I think they're kind of figuring out that the guy in the Oval Office is out of his gourd. And
well, MAGA itself is pretty upset about Iran. I mean, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene going after Trump, and you've got Tucker Carlson fighting with Ted Cruz, which I'd love to see that fight with those people. But yeah, so this is the guy that ran on no more wars. We're not going to get involved in any more wars, and now you're just going to be dragged right into it by Netanyahu. And this is you've got a complete moron DUI hire heading up the Defense Department, and an idiot as commander in chief. So what could go wrong?
A lot could go wrong, and that's what we're hoping to avoid. Taco did come out and say that he'd give another 2 weeks. It looks like Iran might be open to some negotiations. So, it's Taco Thursday that he's changed his mind today. So we'll see what Taco brings on Tuesday. But this guy's just overmatched. KK Caroline's struggling to just stay on topic with him because he's the hardest working guy. Yet we saw him watching the workers. It's like
watching a flagpole all day.
Yeah, it's like the retired guy watching them dig holes.
Yeah.
They showed the one guy. They showed the one guy in the crane. He was asleep. Trump's telling this story. Probably if the cameras weren't rolling, he probably would have had that guy's head.
Well, I like the clip. I think Cole showed me the other day from Trump's parade where he's like saying something and Melania is looking at him. Then as she turns away, she's just rolling her eyes in disgust.
Yeah, I did see that. Well, how could you not? He's a pig.
He's a pig. I'm sure those colostomy bags don't smell that good.
Yeah, well, they keep getting more and more things. They're like, what's down around his calf? Like, what is happening here? But listen, better down the leg in a bag than in a diaper that just stinks. So,
well, yeah, there is that.
I would say it's sad for most people, but he's borderline the devil. So, and keep in mind, careful what you say. The Laura Loomer is making a list, and it's a running comments list off of tweet. Anybody that says anything derogatory about Trump, and this is on the right wing side of it. So any right wing bloggers or people making derogatory comments towards our dear leader, you made the list. So the lists have started.
You know what? Nixon had a list. This is not North Korea, so Laura Loomer can take that list and where she could do with it.
She's kind of important. She's kind of running our foreign affairs right now. She's a tremendous advisor to Trump. So
He's a tremendous asshole.
I don't know her qualifications, but I don't think
Doesn't have any.
that,
You don't need any. Just
Yeah.
agree with everything Trump says and come up with really bad ideas. Then you're in.
you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Unbelievable.
insane. Well, we're going to end on that happy ending of July 17th.
Well, I do have a happy ending, though. I'm going to have some tacos after this. So.
All right. Well, there you go. I hope you don't change your mind about that.
Well, I will not be. No.
Okay, good.
I will not chicken out on having my tacos. And they're going to be good.
Tacos?
They are actually plant-based beef tacos.
All right. Don't forget, I have that beef you have to take home. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So anyway, Good Trouble lives on 7/17, but we will have more about that as we get closer.
All right.
Billy, stay cool. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch up later.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Nice job today.
Oh, you too. Always a pleasure.
Good job. All right, brother.